What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primarily to deliver you our Week 3 recap here in the NPBF. I know this is actually a day late. It's been a really rough week with a lot of tests and shit going on. A lot of personal things that I'm dealing with, but we're getting through it. It's no big deal. We'll be fine. But this week, a lot of things to update y'all on. The first is we have a new coach joining us. His name is, if I can find it, his name is Jesse, and he is the coach of the Ohio Castforms. We actually ended up kicking out Michael, the coach of the Flashing Blade Pichus, because he was, to shorten things, he was a bit of a dick, and he didn't read the rules properly. So yeah, he said he was going to flame us on his YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff afterwards, which is kind of just acting like a child and whatever. We don't need those kind of people here. So, with that being said, we have a new coach, as well as we did also have to hand out two forfeits this week, unfortunately. Mercedes of the Mr. Grambles gave a forfeit win to Rennie and the New York Dialgas, just due to scheduling mishaps, as well as the Atlanta Dragonites picking up a forfeit win over the new Castforms because of all of the drama that started up the week, as well as him just having the chat muted, unfortunately. It happens, but he was able to perform his Week 4 battle. He actually did it fairly early, so you will have that next week to see how the new coach performs. But without further ado, let us hop into the rest of the games for this week.
Alright, the first game we are going to cover this week is between the Phoenix Infernal, coached by Chris, and Nathan and his Parma Poipoles. The Poipoles bring their Mega Gallade, Necrozma, Lycanroc, Midnight, Silvally, Tentacruel, and Gorbis, while the Inferno decide to bring their Alolan Ninetales, Rotom-Mow, Cobalion, Umbreon, Salamence, and their Electrode. So, without further ado, let us hop into this game. We see Lycanroc lead against the Voltorb, who immediately switches out and catches a Volt Switch on that Necrozma. Umbreon comes in, and Necrozma goes immediately for a Z Stealth Rock, getting up that +1 defense. Very interesting move there. We see the Signal Beam come out into the Protect on the Umbreon. Signal Beam does no damage at all. Literally nothing. Umbreon's ridiculous special defense is just too much. And ooh, amazing play. Amazing play on the part of Chris. Going for that foul play on the Gallade switch in. That is actually really, really good. Really, really good play. Yes, it does give it the justified boost, unfortunately for Chris at this time, but it also puts him pretty much in range of anything with a Scarf or anything faster to just come in and pick it off afterwards. So very, very nice. So Gallade's going to Mega Evolve and just go for the close combat and take out the Umbreon. Not surprising there, just kind of let that thing go down. Into Blue Balls here, the Electro, who's going to go for the Thunderbolt and do over half to this Silvally Fire. This is not a switch-in whatsoever to that Life Orb Electrode. Sucker Punch comes out from the Lycanroc and is actually able to take out the Trode, but between Aftermath and Life Orb, that's going to knock it down really far. Fire Punch comes out and actually snags a burn on the Rotom, which is huge. Leaf Storm will then pick up the KO, but the White Herb is there to give it back its special attack stat. Really, really cool. Psycho Cut from Gallade is going to pick up the kill there on the Rotom, as in comes the Alolan Ninetales, who goes for an Ice Shard that is unable to kill, and Rock Slide is actually going to come out and pick up the kill for Gallade. So Gallade is going to drop to the Hail, but really, really amazing showing by that Gallade this week. But in comes this terrifying Salamence, as it's just going to go for a Dragon Dance in the face of this Tentacruel, pop off that Supersonic Sky Strike as he tried to set up the rain, and I don't understand that. I don't entirely understand why he set up the rain. Maybe he was Swift Swim on Gorbis, but Gorbis is also extremely slow, so maybe that's a thing. If he brought Swift Swim Gorbis, that's interesting prep on his part. And could have been really, really cool if it had worked out in his favor, but +1 Ments is just too fast. Just too fast to deal with. So another Ments sweep for Chris to close out the week. Very, very good play on both coaches' parts. And now on to the next one. The next game that came out this week was between Kieran and the London Ludicolo and why is the name escaping me? Heliodoro and the Meowston Rockets. The Rockets bring their Quagsire, Mega Aggron, Incineroar, Togekiss, Jirachi, and Sawsbuck, while the Ludicolos bring their Mimikyu, their Gyarados. If I remember correctly, he has regular Gyarados. Mega Garchomp, if I remember right. Amoonguss, Swellow, and Manectric. We'll find out if I'm correct in a few minutes. Let's go. He leads with his Swellow against the Sawsbuck, which obviously has to swap out into the Incineroar as a smart U-turn on the part of Kieran, getting in the Gyarados against the Incineroar. Jirachi's going to come in as the Gyarados goes for a Dragon Dance, and obviously must swap out into the Quagsire, who gets crit, but that Earthquake does no damage. That nice unaware ability. Supersonic Sky Strike comes out from the Gyarados and is actually able to knock it down within range of a potential Earthquake, which is great. Another Earthquake comes out on the Togekiss switch in, allowing him to pretty much wall off this Gyarados. Manectric comes in as the Quagsire switches in. Obviously can't be safe because of a Hidden Power, which is shown to be Hidden Power Grass on this Incineroar, which is really, really, really smart prep on the Ludicolo's part. Volt switching out here, that Life Orb, into the Gyarados once again to threaten this Incineroar. He's going to go for a bounce on this one, which is actually very, very smart play on his part to hit that Togekiss. And ooh, he gets the Para. Togekiss roosts off the damage, but that Para can be huge as the game goes on. The Togekiss goes for an Ancient Power and does not get the boosts, thankfully, as Amoonguss comes out and goes for a Giga Drain on the incoming Sawsbuck. Probably predicted that that Quagsire would come in there. I don't know why he went out into Swallow here on this one. He literally just got the Para from Bounce. I'm really not sure why that play was made. I mean, yes, you obviously want to swap out your Amoonguss, but at the same time, Amoonguss can afford to be paralyzed, and let's be real, Amoonguss can definitely take a bounce from a Sawsbuck. Amoonguss is pretty fucking tanky, so I'm not really too sure about that play. Getting Swellow paralyzed is usually less than ideal, but I don't know, we'll see. He's going to go out into his Garchomp now, though, after that U-turn, and Mega Evolve, Dragon Claw, and take out the Quagsire. We finally have the first kill in the match at turn 16. Earthquake does no damage to this Aggron as the Avalanche is going to come out and take out that Garchomp. Hell yeah, that was some amazing, amazing damage there. Good stuff. The Heavy Slam comes out, gets a crit on the Disguise as Mimikyu gets to +2. Shadow Claw comes out and ooh, that's some damage on that Incineroar. Hell yeah. And this is another questionable play on my part, on his part actually. We haven't had any confirmed item yet on this Incineroar, obviously. Actually, no, we do have the leftovers. So, obviously, Mimikyu is going to outspeed, and another Shadow Claw would have picked up the KO, for sure, on this Incineroar, and he actually could have continued to potentially sweep, honestly, get as many kills as possible. Especially if he has Shadow Sneak, he could use that to mitigate the potential flinch chances from Jirachi, which could have been really, really nice. And with a paralyzed Togekiss sitting there and a Sawsbuck, which really can't do too much, I think he could have potential to sweep there with Mimikyu, or at least really break through a lot of his team. So, definite missed opportunity there, Kieran. Just for future reference, like, look at the damage you're doing and note, like, that was definitely a free KO just sitting there on the Incineroar. But he does decide to sack his Gyarados here. I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, it was pretty much down low anyway, but definitely don't think it was worth it. Thunderbolt here is going to get a crit on the incoming Sawsbuck, and that is actually going to put it down pretty low, as the Manectric is going to be able to Volt Switch out and go back out into Amoonguss on the Horn Leech. So very solid play there. Sawsbuck goes up for the bounce as Amoonguss is still sitting there, and of course Amoonguss must swap as the bounce goes into the Manectric. Volt Switch is actually going to be able to pick up the KO here as Manectric takes another hit from its Life Orb. Amoonguss comes back in as in comes the Incineroar, out to Busted Mimikyu, and ooh, that Flare Blitz into the skies is just painful. Play Rough is going to be able to take it out from this range though, however, which is a nice solid thing. Actually, the reveal that he had Play Rough makes the earlier switch out very questionable, because if he had just gone for a Play Rough on the Play Rough is stronger than Shadow Claw. If he was afraid that it was a roll on Shadow Claw, he could have just gone for Play Rough on the Incineroar. So I don't know. I'm still confused by that play, but Mimikyu's going to go for a Shadow Claw on the Aggron and die to its own Life Orb, showing that maybe it wouldn't have swept because of the damage it did there, but Swellow's going to come out and get off a nice, powerful Heat Wave on that Aggron, as we are now revealing the Rachi's full potential. That is not Scarfed. We see that it is definitely not Scarfed, because originally when I first watched through this game, I assumed that it was Scarfed because yes, it outsped a Swellow, but I forgot the fact that the Swellow was in fact paralyzed. So that's cool. So the Manectric goes for the Overheat here onto the Jirachi's Protect, and then switches over to Thunderbolt, which is an amazingly good play. Thunderbolt into the Volt Switch on the Togekiss is going to be able to take it out, but that leaves Jirachi all alone against the Amoonguss, and if you don't like hacks, you might want to turn away for a few minutes, because this is going to hurt your eyes. This is going to hurt to watch. It's just Jirachi doing what Jirachi does best, being a Pokemon that you don't need skill to play. Being a Pokemon that requires literally 0 skill to play. This is truly disgusting. That is truly the most disgusting thing I've ever watched in my entire life. Truly the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. I hope this stupid Pokemon dies in a fiery pit call of hell. From turn 34 to 4, every turn in between was a flinch. Didn't even get the chance to be paralyzed. Just flinched outright. That is a disgusting Pokemon, and you should be ashamed of yourself for using it and thinking it's good. It's not good, it's cheap. There's a difference. But regardless, the Rockets pick up a 1-0 victory on the back of Jirachi. And I don't want to see this Pokemon on my screen anymore. Let's get it off. Next up, we have the Wellington Whirlwinds, coached by David, taking on the Driftvale Drillbirds, coached by Corey? Yes, coached by Corey. So, the Whirlwinds bring their Mega Altaria, their Lucario, the Weezing, the Sceptile, the Golurk, and the Pyroar against the Driftvale Drillburs, Primarina, Rotom Heat, Kartana, Ribombee, Mega Ampharos, and Alolan Raticate. So some very interesting mons in this matchup. So a lot of low-tier threats in this game. So it's going to be really fun to watch. Let's hop right in. We see the Pyroar lead against the Primarina, as obviously it must swap out into the Sceptile, who does not take that Moonblast well at all. Ooh, missing the Leaf Storm on the incoming Rotom as well. That's a definite damage that could have been nice to have. Volt Switch onto the incoming Altaria. Again, just some... The Drillburs are holding the momentum right now. And that unfortunate Stun Spore miss, that does suck, because Pyroar currently is faster than everything on the Drillburs team besides that Ribombee and the Kartana. So having that para on it would have been very, very beneficial for things like the Primarina later in the game, or the Rotom to be able to potentially outspeed and KO it. Very, very unfortunate there. I mean, Stun Sport is a very inaccurate move, so you do take that risk when you use it. But regardless, that's still a very, very rough miss to have. Just going to set up the Sticky Webs as the Flame Charge comes out from the Pyroar. A double Flame Charge from the Pyroar is going to take out that Ribombee. And are we seeing a Moxie physical Pyroar right now? Work up. Oh man, what a set. What a set. He's going to go for the second work up. This is insanity. Volt switching out with the Rotom. As into the Primarina they go. Wild Charge comes out from the Pyroar, and that does so much damage even through the Reflect. But the Specs Surf, I'm assuming Specs, the Surf from the Primarina is going to take out the Pyroar. But what a crazy set. Work up, Flame Charge with Moxie. That's some tech. That's some crazy, crazy tech, man. His sets have been complete heat this season so far. I will say that much. He's got some wild shit coming out. I'm really impressed. I'm actually really, really impressed. But we got the Mega Altaria, Mega Evolving here, and getting the Defog off on those Sticky Webs as a Moonblast comes out, revealing it is not a Specs Primarina like I had assumed. So the return's going to pick up the KO there. Quick Attack from the Alolacate is going to take him down, and in comes the Lucario. Close Combat does so much to that incoming Rotom. So much. And then a second one will in fact be able to take it out, no problem. In comes the Mega Ampharos as it's going to Mega Evolve on the Golurk, switch in, and hit it with a massive Dragon Pulse. Jesus Christ. Golurk is going to go for an EQ on the switch in of the Alolan Raticate, and oh my god, everything's getting chunked. Sucker Punch comes out, and oh, 2 Sucker Punches back to back does nothing. Because he's playing around those suckers. Ooh, so many suckers. And the Toxic is going to be able to take it down as the Protect whittles down that Raticate. A Toxic now on to the Ampharos. And again, we're just seeing things chunked down to the red at every other turn. It's crazy, crazy levels of damage. The Ampharos is going to take that Flamethrower now, though, and Dragon Pulse and take out the Weezing. You see Golurk come in here, obviously going to outspeed, and then Earthquake, and take that Life Orb hit. Into the Kartana. Kartana's going to get a Leaf Blade off on this Golurk. Pick up that attack boost, and ooh, we have a Vacuum Wave Lucario to close the game. What a smart prep on the part of David and the Wellington Whirlwinds to pack that Vacuum Wave for the Kartana, so it could not get out of control. That was a really, really good game, really amazing game, bouncing back from his loss last week. Very, very well played, David, and a good game to Corey as well. It was a really, really solid game to watch. It was really fun to see things like Alolan Raticate, Pyroar, put in some kind of crazy work with those kind of wicked sets. Really, really cool stuff. But with that, we're going to move on to the next game. Next up on the docket this week, we are going to be watching the Todd Gillispods coached by Alex against Jay and his Orlando Magikarps. Jay decided to bring the Magearna, the Rhyperior, Porygon 2, the Medicham, which I believe is Mega, Gliscor, and the Malamar against the Kyurem Black, Gliscopod, Empoleon, Shaman, and Hippowdon with the Mega Scizor on the side of the Gliscopods. So let's hop right into it. We see a Hippowdon here lead against the Gliscor, and that's just an interesting match. Gliscor gets up an immediate SD with that Toxic Orb popping. Into the Kyurem Black we go, as another SD comes out. That is crazy. He is setting up like mad. So it sets up for the Freeze Shock, which very interesting bring on the part of the Gliscopods. I don't know why Free Shock was the play there, per se. That leaves you open for free damage, and then he could easily just swap out on the following turn into something like yes, it forces him out, I guess. I can see that, actually. It can kind of force out the Gliscor, get rid of its boost, etc., which is a very, very interesting thought process, but I don't know, that left him open to that crit that just happened there. Although, I don't know how bulky this Kyurem was, but I'm feeling like a +4 Earthquake from Gliscor could have been a... didn't really need much of a crit. So we see Aqua Jet from the Golisopod as another Earthquake is going to come out here. And the Sandstorm is actually going to knock it into emergency exit. So into the Empoleon we go, and now I'm not totally sure of this play. And the reason for that is you're at +4, you're a ground type, you're faster. Why would you click Facade on the Empoleon when you have a clear, easy way to click Earthquake? Empoleon's going to easily be able to go for a Scald here and take out the Gliscor. It is revealed that it does have the leftovers, so it's even more questionable as to why he didn't just go for the Earthquake there. Really can't justify that play. Maybe he was over-predicting and thinking maybe Shaman or Golisopod would want to try to come in. Although Golisopod, if it came in, based upon the earlier damage, the Earthquake did 47%, which is what it's currently sitting at. So the Earthquake could have potentially killed Golisopod. And Shaman, if it comes in, oh well, you know, you can, unless it has HP Ice, you could definitely take one hit from the Shaman, for sure, and still be able to hit it with that Facade afterwards. So he actually was in a very, very good position, and he lost a lot of momentum by going for that Facade play. Scald comes out onto the Rhyperior and is going to pick up some massive damage as a Power Punch comes out. However, Power Punch is not going to be effective as the Scald is going to then take out the Rhyperior. So Empoleon already got 2 kills here so far, and now in comes the Malamar, and the problems are about to ensue, typically. But the Superpower does no damage to this Hippowdon at all, and Hippowdon is just going to come in here and chew those hits, chew these hits, and get a Toxic up on the Malamar. And now it's just a matter of time. Hippowdon is just chewing these hits, does not care that Malamar is even here, and can just slack off all that damage. All those damages so far from those superpowers are just completely made meaningless by that slack off. An Earthquake here onto the Malamar chips away at it a little bit further. This superpower is actually going to miss taking it out as it gets up to +5. As a slack off, it just brings it back up to well over half HP as the Toxic is going to take it out. Mega Medicham here is going to go for a Fake Out on the Hippowdon, get that flinch, but really not doing too much damage. However, the High Jump Kick is actually able to pick up the KO. Did not expect that to kill. Although, to be fair, I do underestimate Medicham quite a bit. The Bullet Punch comes out as an Air Slash comes onto the Medicham. As 2 Air Slashes is going to take out the Medicham there. Unfortunate. Leech Seed onto the P2 as Ice Beam comes out. Ooh, that's some big damage. Empoleon's going to come in on this Ice Beam and get some leftovers and Leech Seed recovery, which is very, very smart on the part of the Glissopods. A Scald comes out onto the P2 as, a Thunderbolt just barely misses out with that Leech Seed recovery. It put him in out of range, just barely. Another Scald's going to come out. Get the burn on the Porygon too. That's really huge. The Thunderbolt's going to be able to take it out, but the P2 is down really low, and Earth Power is going to be able to knock it out from this range. Magearna is going to come in now, and Shaman goes for the Tectonic Rage, and is just not able to take out that Magearna. I'm assuming it must have been an Assault Vest of some kind, as that is some big damage. That is some big move to just eat. But an Aqua Jet from Golisopod preventing any form of sweeping shenanigans of that on this part of that Magearna. Will pick up the 2-0 win for the tied Glissopods here in this matchup. Huge, huge win for the Glissopods, and very, very solidly well played game on both sides. Although the Facade play, the Facade and the Power Punch plays were both questionable on Jay's part. But on to the next one we go. The next matchup is going to be the Washington Weavers, coached by Rich, taking on James and his Memphis Brave Birds. James brings his Vigoroth, his Jolteon, his Mienshao, his Escavalier, his Tornadus Therian and his Diancie, his Mega Diancie, while Rich is going to bring his Protean Greninja, his Celebi, Mega Gardevoir, Palisand, Altaria, and Arcanine. So let's hop into this. We see the Arcanine lead against the Tornadus as a Toxic comes out immediately onto the Arcanine while it goes for a Flare Blitz on the Torn. Flare Blitz Extreme Speed combination is not going to be able to take out the Tornadus, as it's going to be able to then U-turn out into the Diancie and pick up some immediate momentum. Diancie's going to Mega Evolve and just set up its Stealth Rock, which is a very, very smart play on James' part. Now, in order to, he had to swap there, obviously, to avoid taking an Earth Power from that Palisand, or else he could have definitely stayed in and Magic bounced those rocks back, which would have been completely cool if he had been able to do that, but unfortunate that he was not. But now rocks are up on James's side, which he's going to have to be very careful about with his Torn. But a knockoff is going to come out from the Escavalier, and it's just going to do some ridiculous damage to this Palisand. But Palisand's a bulky boy. He's able to shore up a lot of this damage off, which is really, really cool. And now, on this shore up, he's going to get in his Vigoroth, who's going to be able to Toxic the Sandcastle, which is great. Ancient Powers are coming out here. He's trying to get those boosts, man. He's trying to get those boosts. Crit Sucker Punch from the Vigoroth is going to bring down the Palisand significantly, as now he can just slack off all the damage, which is really, really nice. Vigoroth is actually a really, really cool Pokemon to use in League format. It's actually kind of fun. He's going to be able to slack off back up to full HP, which is really, really cool. As now out into his Escavalier once again he goes on the Leech Seeds. Celebi getting up a Leech Seed on the Escavalier, which is really, really not cool. He goes for the Hidden Power, and I'm very intrigued as to what that Hidden Power could be. I'm not totally sure. I'm trying to think of different things that could be neutral here. Maybe it's HP Ground? I don't know. So it would have to be neutral. Maybe it's HP Ground. Who knows? Who knows? But let's do some quick experimentation. Let's do some quick searching around and see what we can find here. Alright, so based upon the Brave Birds roster, I can only assume that is I can only assume Hidden Power Ground. I can only moderately presume HP Ground. So we're going to go off of that. It's going to be probably HP Ground there. But obviously it's eaten up by Escavalier, as it's going to be able to knock off the Celebi's leftovers, which is great. Now, into the Altaria he goes, as another swap is made into the Diancie. Really, really good play on his part. Palisand comes out, but it's just going to come out and die to this Moonblast from the Diancie, and that's first kill for Diancie. Now, Diancie's obviously just going to outspeed here and go for the Diamond Storm kill and get it on the Celebi, which is even better. Now, obviously, he goes out to his Greninja, which is going to go for a Waterfall, which is actually going to be able to take out the Escavalier. He really likes his physical Greninjas. Really, really likes physical Greninja. Clearly. Jolteon's going to come out here and be able to get off a Volt Switch on the incoming Gardevoir. And now we have Mega Diancie in versus Mega Gardevoir, and Diamond Storm is just going to take it straight out. No issues with Mega Gardevoir at all in this match. Waterfall comes out from Greninja, and for some reason he stays in this time. I mean, he didn't really have a switch in. He probably could have swapped into Vigoroth there, but, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I think Mega Diancie still had a really good niche in this matchup, taking out things like the Altaria and the Arcanine for sure, but he's going to go out into his Mienshao and go for that U-turn as Aerial Ace comes out from the Greninja onto the Vigoroth. He reveals the all-out pummeling here and is actually just going to straight up take out that Vigoroth on this turn, which is really, really unfortunate. Out comes the Jolteon and a Volt Switch is actually going to be able to take out the Greninja. Mienshao is going to get out here, and we see an Altaria, and a Poison Jab is actually going to come out onto the Rocky Helmet Altaria as it goes for a Dragon Dance. Now, I don't know why he would set up a Dragon Dance on a what is clearly to be scarfed Mienshao. It had to be scarfed in order to outspeed the Greninja earlier, so something that he could have noted and probably avoided this, but now obviously the Mienshao is still going to be faster, and another Poison Jab is going to take it out. Granted, the Rocky Helmet damage is annoying, but it's not as bad as it could be. So the Intimidate is going to come out here onto the Mienshao as a Poison Jab is going to hit it in the face. As it's just going to spam Extreme Speed at this point. It's going to be able to pick up the kills on the Mienshao. Not a big deal there. That's fine, because the Toxic should be able to wear it down. Big Bird comes out and, ooh, takes the 29%, well, 28%. It said 29 over here, but it says 28 in the chat and everything. So, I don't know what to call that there, but he gets the 28% on the Extreme Speed there. I don't know if that was a roll or anything. I don't know. I know James mentioned that he had gotten high rolled. I don't know if it was on that particular Mon or if it was on another. But that is huge. That is huge. Picking up that kill right there. Knocking him down to 5%. Now, 44% on the Jolteon. You might not think that that's possible. You might think that, oh, that's not going to happen. The Extreme Speed actually picks up the KO. So, it's not even like it was banded at Arcanine either. It just picks up the KO with the Extreme Speed. Really, really surprising. I did not expect it to kill there. And so the Arcanine is actually just going to be able to clean up the game, which is insane. Insane matchup, insane way to end things off. What a game, what a game. GG to the Washington Weavers. Really, really solid played game on their part, and they somehow clutched out in the end. It was kind of crazy. But on to the next. The next game we'll be covering is John and the Port Elizabeth Politoads taking on Kaz and the Peoria Phantoms. Kaz brings the Kangaskhan, Blossom, Zoroark, Blissey, Blacephalon, and Megatitar, while the Politoads are going to bring Kecleon, Zygarde 50% form, Mega Beedrill, Electros, Donphan, and the Darmanitan. So without further ado, let us get into this one. We see the Beedrill come out here and lead against the Blissey, and as a Poison Jab is going to be able to do over half to this thing, so like, rocks are up, but now the knockoff's going to come out and get rid of its leftovers. Crazy. And the S-Toss is going to come out there, and for some reason he just lets Blissey go down. I don't know why. I honestly, actually looking at the matchup, the only thing on his team that really he could have taken a hit from probably is the Electros, which could potentially be a special attacker, is most likely to be a special attacker, but the rest are all physical, so I can maybe see that now. So he goes out into his Blacephalon here, as in comes the Kecleon, which is more than likely which is definitely quite the special wall, and he goes for the Sludge Bomb. Very interesting play there. Oh, but it is not a Blacephalon, it is a Zoroark who's still going for Sludge Bomb. I don't know why he went for Sludge Bomb at all. There's actually no reason to even have Sludge Bomb there, as a Drain Punch is actually just going to come out and kill. Now, why would he have Sludge Bomb on his prep here? Let's find out. Let's do some exploring. The Phantoms against the Politoads. Why did he bring Sludge Bomb? Actually, the only thing on the Politoads team that is weak to Sludge Bomb is Meganium. So I'm not really sure what he was going for there, but the Sludge Bomb just didn't get him anywhere against this Kecleon. Dark Pulse probably would have been even better in the long run. Something along those lines could have been even better, so I don't know. I'm kind of confused with that one, but who knows? We'll never understand what he was going for. But that crit on the Drain Punch probably didn't matter, let's be honest. Kecleon is now going to be forced to swap here by this Blossom, who goes for a Sleep Powder on the incoming Darmanitan. That's huge. Now the Beedrill is going to come back out, and we see the Quiver Dance from the Blossom, but Blossom just does not outspeed and just dies to a U-turn. Insanity. Insanity. Beedrill picking up another KO. Now Zygarde is out here. Zygarde is in it. Takes a Fake Out to the face, does not give a damn at all. Zygarde is here, ready to go. I don't know, he clicked Fake Out again. I don't know what was going on there. Why did he click Fake Out again? But he got a free Dragon Dance up, and then got a sub on the switch. Blacephalon's going to go for a Shadow Ball to break the substitute, but 1,000 Arrows comes out and picks up the kill onto that Blacephalon. Another Dragon Dance comes out here, as the Kangaskhan goes for an Earthquake. 1,000 Arrows almost picks up the KO as another Earthquake is able to come out here. And ooh, that damage. Another 1,000 Arrows is going to be able to take out that Kangaskhan though. And now we have Zygarde versus Tyranitar. Mega T-Tar is going to come here and ooh, barely live that, but a Crunch is going to just barely miss out on the KO there. Just barely miss the KO on that Zygarde, who just decides to finish the game off with an Outrage. And the Politoads pick up a 6-0 win over the Phantumps. Huge win for the Politoads. Really, really tough loss for the Phantumps there. But, man, what a game. Showing the true power of a well-trained Zygarde and a well-trained Beedrill, man. That's some scary, scary shit. But, GG to those two, and on to the next one. Alrighty, guys. The next game we're going to be covering is my game this week. The Paniola Primarina is taking on the Kissaki Glaceons. I decided to bring my Rotom Wash, Passimian, Florges, the Mega Charizard X, the Rose Raid, and the Weavile against the Glaceons and Antonio's Tyranitar, Milotic, Miltank, Mawile, Gardevoir, and Mega Lopunny. So let us get into this. I decided to lead my Passimian as he leads his Gardevoir in turn 1. I don't know if he was Scarfed or not. If he was Scarfed, then it was definitely a Speed tie. But I am Choice Scarf Passimian, and I go straight for the Gunk Shot, and I am going to wipe out the Gardevoir turn 1, and that is huge. That is a huge, huge threat for my team, especially if it's Scarfed. Huge threat, completely gone, turn 1, and now I'm actually just free to click free Dragon Claws against anything on his team with my Charizard, which is great. So he's going to go out to Mawile, obviously seeing that I'm Scarfed, assuming that he was Scarfed as well, and go for the Iron Heads. I'm going to be able to get in my Charizard for free. I'm just going to Mega Evolve straight away, and I'm going to go for an Earthquake, and ooh, that damage on the T-Tar. Now I'm sitting here praying he's not Scarfed, and ooh, I get the Earthquake off, and he is not Choice Scarfed at all. So that is huge for me to pick up that kill right there. Goes up to his Mega Lopunny, I'm just going to switch out to my Florges, that's my switch in, but he reveals the Retaliate, which makes my Florges not a switch in. Not a switch in at all. So, if it was Return, I could have taken that. I could have taken that. I was going to take a little under half from that. I think the max roll was like 51% at most, and that would have been fine. If he'd gone for Fake Out, I can take the Fake Out Return, and he would have taken a shit ton of Rocky Helmet damage, but nope. Goes straight for the Retaliate and pretty much nullifies my Florges in this matchup. He's just going to go for a second Retaliate, and even though it's weaker now, that's not directly after a kill, he's going to be able to pick up the kill, but the Sand and the Rocky Helmet is just doing so much for me. He's going to get the Intimidate off. I'm going to go for the Close Combat here, and it picks up a crit and knocks it down to its sash, so this is definitely not a defensive Mawile at all. Close Combat again once more to take out the Mawile. Now I'm sitting at -1 attack and such. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pick up the kill. The Fake Out does over half to me, which is really, really scary, but I go for another Close Combat, and bam, give me that Lopunny. Passimian is out here taking lives. He goes up to the Miltank, and now I'm running Calcs. Like, if he's an offensive Miltank, if he's like a speedier Miltank, I can totally kill this thing right now. Definitely could totally kill this thing, but if he's not, then I definitely can't. So I'm going to swap out here to my Rotom, and he's going to go for the Body Slam, and that's fine. I'm just going to start spamming Hydro Pumps here. I just want to get this thing chipped down. He definitely doesn't have any Spadef investment at all, because these Hydro Pumps are doing way more damage than they should be if he had Spadef investment. Now, I missed that Hydro Pump there. That was kind of okay with me, because see, that's kind of okay with me because I kind of wanted to sack it so I could bring Passimian back in, but you see here, he actually does have some physical defense investment. So he is going to live the Close Combat and get the para on the Body Slam, and even with my Choice Scarf, after the para comes through, it's just not going to be enough to make me outspeed this Miltank. But this allows me to bring in my Life Orb Rose Raid, go for the Sludge Bomb there. He goes for Magic Coat. This is actually a miscue on his part. He's supposed to have Mirror Coat. I don't think it matters obviously, because you're going to see here, I went for my Life Orb Leaf Storm, and it just straight OHKOs the Milotic. That's the entire reason I brought Rose Raid this week, was to just OHKO Milotic. And, but it worked out for my favor. Rose Raid just tears through that Milotic. And the crazy thing is, Weavile, my current kill leader on the team, did not even touch the field in this game. Didn't even have to come out to show his stuff. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But solid game to Antonio. Really, really good game. And we pick up another big 3-0 win in our favor. Next up, we have Gavino and his Jerusalem Jirachis taking on Chris and his Mono Water Kalamazoo Kingdras. The Kingdras bring the Gastrodon, the Toxapex, the Huntail, the Azumarill, the Omastar, and the Basculin against the Jirachis, Chansey, Musharna, Ambipom, Mega Gyarados, Galvantula, and Dusclops. So let us get into this. We see an Ambipom lead up against the Omastar. Omastar is immediately going to switch out here into the Toxapex on the incoming Fake Out. Get some Black Flash back, and Ambipom goes for a power-up punch as it is going to get Toxic here by the Toxapex. So the Ambipom is trying to set up here on this Toxapex, getting another power-up punch off, trying to get some damage, but ooh, the haze is revealed, and those power-up punches are completely useless. Now, out in Chansey we go as, ooh, another Toxic comes out. Really, really good prediction on his part that the swap was about to happen. The Chansey goes for the Heal Bell and cures the poison on the Ambipom. Ooh, he predicted that and got another Toxic off on it, getting some more chip. The Thunder Wave comes out onto the Toxapex as a Scald is going to hit the Chansey, just trying to get a little bit of chip damage and chip him down. A Heal Bell is going to come out here. And another Toxic. He's predicting every turn that he's going to go for Heal Bell. Amazingly played there. So the Chansey is going to go for a Soft Boil this turn, as the Azumarill is going to be able to come in here and get a sub in front of the Thunder Wave. Huge, huge turn. Natural Cure is going to go up as the Belly Drum comes out from the Azu. It's going to be able to maximize its attack. Aqua Jet down to the Sash with this Galvantula, and wow, what a move! It's going to Volt Switch out, and now ooh, he's in Fake Out range. That's scary. So out to the Toxapex he goes for the Fake Out. Then back out into Azu on the incoming Seed Bomb. Very, very interesting play there. I'm not really quite sure what he was going for. But now the Power Punch comes out onto this Omastar, which reveals the Weak Armor, which is super, super interesting tech. He's got the Weak Armor there for that Power Up Punch, and he gets the +4 speed, and then gets the Shell Smash, with the Shell Smash and everything, +4 speed, +2 attack and special attack. So this Omastar is a fast boy. Alright, so this Omastar is ready to go, and in comes this Dusclops here, and ooh, that right there is huge. That Rock Blast miss there is going to be huge, and I'm going to note that later. Goes for the knockoff on this Dusclops, getting rid of its Eviolite, but ooh, damn, that burn is going to suck. Now, I don't know how much the Rock Blast would have done with the Eviolite. I don't know the spread or anything. But I do know that extra damage, because, you know, obviously we're theory modding here, but that extra damage could have mattered a lot in the long run of this match, because depending on how many hits he got, I mean, he was unburned +2 attack, Omastar, even if it's only doing 5% per hit, that's a potential minimum of 10, but maximum of 25 free percent that tied in with the knockoff, and then that waterfall could have actually ended up potentially killing, depending on rolls and such. He does get the waterfall flinch though, which is really, really nice for him. Another knockoff's going to come out here, do 23% there. Pain Split's going to knock him down a bit more. Knockoff again here, and the Nightshade's going to be able to take out the Omastar. So again, we're theory modding, but that Rock Blast miss could have been huge. Basculin comes out, goes for that Aqua Jet there, which is really, really nice, as the Toxapex again comes in on the Fake Out. So we have a trend forming here, as out comes the Musharna against the Toxapex, which is super scary. It's going to be able to set up a Calm Mind in its face. Waterfall comes out from Basculin. That does nothing. That Basculin is hitting hard, but that just does nothing to Musharna. Musharna just swallows that hit. The Huntail is going to set up a Shell Smash in front of it, as it is Focus Sash. Going to eat that energy ball, go down to its Sash, and a Surf comes out. A Surf comes out that is just not able to pick up the kill, and Musharna picks up another with the energy ball. Toxapex comes out here and takes a Psyshock. Unfortunately, taking that Psyshock, it hurt a lot, but he had to do that for sure. But now he at least has the Toxic on the Musharna. So now out to Gastrodon, as the Musharna reveals Heal Bell, which is so huge. Gastrodon, however, reveals an Energy Ball and Earthquake, and barely lives that Energy Ball from the Musharna at +1. Crazy that a Gastrodon just lived an Energy Ball like that. But another Earthquake is going to be able to take it out. But at this point, it's pretty much GG. Energy goes straight for an immediate power-up punch. And at that point, the game is pretty much sealed, because double hit is going to be doing crazy damage. That crit there is kind of annoying. And the crit into the para sucks. But another double hit is going to come out here on the switch into the Gastrodon. Now Toxapex is back up at a significant amount of HP. We're doing 20 to 22% each time. He's got no chance. The para there kind of sucks. Might have been going for a haze potentially to mitigate the potential of this closing sweep, but Ambipom's going to be able to clean up the game there. And the Jirachis hand the Kingdras their first loss in a big 4-0 win. Huge game for the Jirachis, staying undefeated and knocking off the Kingdras, who are one of the top guys. But really good game on both sides. Really solid. Now on to the next. The next matchup is the 2-0 Cleveland Typhlosions. I didn't think I'd ever be saying that, but the 2-0 Cleveland Typhlosions taking on. They're coached by Ethan, by the way, and the Birmingham Entays, coached by Logan. The Entays decide to bring their Meowstic male, their Bouffalant, their Whimsicott, their Magnezone, the Garchomp, and the Ninetales, while the Typhlosions bring the Avalugg, their Devastating Hawlucha, their Mega Pinsir, their Togetic, their Lycanroc Dusk, and the Heliolisk. So let's hop into this one. Avalugg leads out against Houdini, the Meowstic, and apparently, I'm going to point that out, he apparently forgot to put a fourth move on the Meowstic. So far we've seen 2 out of his 3 moves that he has. Reflect and Light Screen lead off this matchup. He eats that Signal Beam because of the Light Screen, which is really huge. And the Light Form damage is going to start racking up on this Heliolisk because he goes for another Signal Beam. And Psychic comes out here from the Heliolisk, doing some big damage, and he gets his Citrus as well. So he has a Citrus Berry Meowstic, not a Light Clay, so you know he's only going to have the 5 turns for his screens. But the Psychic is actually going to be able to take out that Heliolisk. X-Scissor here comes out from the Pinsir, and Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, Garchomp. Behind the Reflect too that turn. Goes for the Hone Claws, and doesn't matter, because with the Return gone and with the Reflect gone and everything, that Return, which is definitely stronger than the X-Scissor, is actually able to take out the Chomp. But more Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet for that Pinsir, which is huge damage. So out comes the Ninetales, and it shows that it's Scarfed. It's definitely Scarf Ninetales. No, it's Life Orb. Then what the fuck? Now I'm curious. No, it was Adamant Pinsir. It was definitely Adamant Pinsir, because this is the only way that Ninetales could have outsped. Wow, crazy. He brought Adamant Pinsir when his opponent had a Garchomp and a Ninetales. They could both outspeed it really easily. That's crazy. I mean, Quick Attack obviously is a thing, but the Ninetales is then able to outspeed and knock it out with a Flamethrower into the Lycanroc, he goes with the Splintered Storm Shards onto the Ninetales, knocking it out immediately. I don't really think he needed that, but I guess he probably decided he didn't want to take the chance of missing with a Stone Edge, so I feel like that makes sense. The Brick Break comes out here from the Lycanroc, which does over half to the Bouffalant, but a Superpower is going to knock it out. A Power Herb Sky Attack from the Hawlucha misses as the Breakneck Blitz comes out from the Bouffalant. If it wasn't -1 attack, that would have definitely killed the Hawlucha. Pointing that out there. But man, that Sky Attack miss is huge. That was big damage on that Hawlucha that he just could not afford to take. God, really, really rough turn for Ethan there. Definite hacks that mattered. But he goes into the Magnezone here, and Drain Punch does a lot, but Thunderbolt's just able to knock it out. Magnezone is out here. Whimsicott comes in here. Whimsicott comes in here and takes a Flamethrower from the Togetic. Is able to knock off its Eviolite. Just comes in to knock it off. That's crazy cool. So Light Screen goes up here as the Shadow Ball comes out from Togetic. As now a Reflect goes up. Psychic comes out onto the Avalugg as it's going to go for a Gyro Ball. 2 Psychics back to back as Gyro Ball is going to be able to take out the Meowstic. But out comes the Magnezone Flash Cannon for that Avalugg. And now that the Eviolite is gone, Flash Cannon comes out and destroys the Togetic. And that is a 1-0 in what I would call an upset victory for the Entei over the Typhlosions. Huge, huge, huge win. Ethan eating his first loss this week, while Magnezone is here picking up 3 kills in this game. Really, really good showing for Logan and that Magnezone. Really, really good showing. But yeah, definitely I can say though, if the Sky Attack had hit the Bouffalant, I'm not totally sure how the match could have gone. Maybe the Thunderbolt would have still killed Hawlucha from full from the Magnezone, but it's also debatable. It's really hard to just theorem on that one because I don't have the exact spreads. But still, crazy game, crazy finish. Really, really cool to watch. GG to Logan. Really, really good play. But on to the next one. Our last game this week is the Baltimore Predacons taking on the Maine Black Bearticks. And this is going to be one heck of a matchup because the Predacons are doing pretty well. They had that Xurkitree 6-0 sweep week 1. Real big thing. Real big win. As the Bearticks, also have been kind of off to a little bit of a rocky start for the most part. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top here. Looking like it's going to be a good matchup. I'm really looking forward to this one. So let's hop on in. We see a Registeel lead off here against the Magneton, and thinking, more than likely to be trapped. So you can see a Volt Switch here for the Magneton as Ironhead comes out on the incoming Granbull. That's huge. Granbull's able to get off an Earthquake on that Registeel, but Ironhead's just going to knock it out. Really, really, really good turn for the Predacons to start with. HP Fire is not going to do enough to that Registeel, and the Thunder Punch comes out. I don't know if he was I don't know why he went for the Thunder Punch per se, but Ironhead here just gets a crit and does decent damage. I'm really wondering as to why he doesn't just switch in his Latios on one of these HP Fires. He definitely could have preserved the Registeel to bulk out some hits later in the game, but he decides not to, and he actually just goes straight out to his Xurkitree. I don't know what he was doing here. He just clicks Thunderbolt on the Venusaur. I honestly don't understand what he's doing. He's clicking Thunderbolt on the Venusaur, and I don't understand. He has a Latios right there this whole time. But he's gonna get whittled down by the poison from the Sludge Bomb, and Venusaur is gonna pick himself up a nice passive kill there. Slaking comes out and goes for the Retaliate on the Magneton, which I don't know if it actually gets the bonus on that one. I don't know if it actually technically gets the bonus there because I think it's only because if Amon faints. I don't think it's if the opposing Pokemon actually picked up the kill or not. But who knows? But the Magneton's able to beat that Slaking down. As we have the Scizor over there. Wishy-Washy comes out as the Scizor SDs in its face and takes a Surf. That's hurtful. Scissor's going to roost as another Surf comes out, and that's just doing some crazy damage. So he's not going to be able to roost that off for long. But he goes for the Bug Bite, and it just straight up kills. There's no damage boosting item, just the SD, and it just straight kills. Bullet Punch, he's going to kill the Chinchino. Oh, man. And it's looking like it's about to be a Scizor sweep as a Bullet Punch comes out and does, just over half to this Mega Latias. It's going to be able to pick up a crit, does not matter. It's going to be able to pick up the win for the Black Bear Tex. Big 5-0 win over the Predacons. Really, really questionable. Really, really questionable game. I don't know what the Predacons were doing. The big part was just letting the Mega Venusaur just sit there and tear through two of his biggest walls. I mean, especially if we look, obviously it's just, hindsight obviously helps in the situation, but if we look at his Scizor set, SD, Roost, Bug Bite, and Bullet Punch, he could not touch, couldn't even tickle the Registeel at all. Couldn't touch it. So, very, very questionable in my opinion on those, on that, letting that just go down, letting it just get whittled and torn through. I don't understand what his thought process was there. He could have potentially taken hits later from the Kyurem, taken hits from the Tornadus. Like, there's a lot of things on his team that he could have potentially 1v1 with that Registeel that he just kind of let drop for no reason. As well as the Xurkitree. Xurkitree, for whatever reason, had to come in there. I don't know why that was necessary. I don't know why Xurkitree was even on the field at that point. Against the Venusaur, Xurkitree doesn't get any offensive Psychic type moves to my knowledge, so it's not like he was going to go for a big Shattered Psyche on it or anything to pick up the kill. It was just, I don't know. I'm really, really confused by that move. I don't know. He let one of his biggest offensive threats and one of his biggest defensive threats drop when he could have just gone into his Lottie and clicked Psychic on the Venusaur. On any of the HP fires that was fired off. It was literally just spamming HP fire and Synthesis. And there were so many turns that he could have just had a free switch into Lottie and then put pressure on him. So, I don't know. I'm really, really confused by that, but maybe there was something else going on that he just wasn't focused or whatever, but regardless, that is it for the games for this week, and now we are going to head into our kill leaders list. Alrighty, now it's time to look at our kill leaders so far this season, and still sitting at the top, even though he had a little bit of a poor performance this week, is Hawlucha from the Cleveland Typhlosions. Sitting at a nice, comfortable 8 kill and 2 deaths with a +6 differential after being knocked out this week and only being able to pick up a single kill. But coming close behind, coming out of nowhere, like an RKO from Randy Orton out of nowhere, Salamence from the Phoenix Infernos comes up with 8 and 2 as well, tied for first place with the Hawlucha. Really, really, really cool to see Salamence up here this high after such a short period of time. Just 2 quick weeks can easily just change these kill leaders, because before this he wasn't even up there. He wasn't even close to the top. There were several mons that were way, way ahead. And just looking at that, some very, very impressive statistics to see there. Very, very cool to see Salamence make the top. I'm very, very impressed. And hopefully Chris can keep up the good work with this beautiful mon. Bumping down to third place due to being inactive this week is the Mamoswine from the New York Dialga, still sitting at 6-0 with a +6 differential. But with the amazing showing he's had with Mamoswine so far, I'd almost be willing to say that even if the game between him and the Dialgas would have taken place, Rennie and the Mamoswine would have easily cracked their way up into second place, potentially even first. So I would have beaten first place if he'd beaten second place, I suppose. But hey, what can you say? But still, very, very solid, and I'm sure that Mamoswine is going to keep getting more kills in the future. Now, here we are with the rest of our kill leaders, and boy, have there been a lot of changes. First off to note, we see that Galvantula has been knocked off of the kill leaders. Mimikyu has been knocked off the kill leaders, and Lycanroc Dusk as well have been completely knocked off of the top of the list, which is totally crazy to see. So many mons already getting knocked clean off of the rankings, which is super crazy to see this early on in the season. But we see here we have the Xurkitree from the Baltimore Predacons sitting here at the very top of the this listing with 6 kills and 1 death, suffering that death this week. The +5 differential. I'm sure that it will be able to bounce back and potentially jump itself up into first place, just because of the simple fact that while this mon, did have a very poor performance this week, it definitely has the potential to come back next week much stronger, or any other week, and just pick up another massive sweep, and then all of a sudden it's back up in first place. So beast boosting mons like Xurkitree can easily just take over the kill leaders in a minute's notice. So not too worried about it falling down here, but we do see things like this 6 Pokemon tie. 6 mons tied for 5th place. We have Arcanine from the Washington Weavers, Comfey from the Ohio Cast Forms, Mega Gyarados from the Jerusalem Jirachis, Hippowdon from the Tide Gallisapods, Jirachi from the Meowston Rockets, and Weavile from the Paniola Primarinas, all tied at 5 kills and 1 death for a +4 differential. The Arcanine soaring its way up this list this week, picking up a 3-kill cleanup at the end of the game with extreme speed. Arcanine put in a lot of work and was able to pick up just the rolls it needed to get itself all those kills and get itself up to this height on the kill leaders. Very impressive. The Comfey, while not having as great of a performance as it did the last time it came, before when the Pichus were the coach, it was still able to pick up a kill this week in its match, bringing it up to 5-1. So, very solid on its part as well. Still sitting up here nice and strong. The Jerusalem Jirachis having this Mega Gyarados up here. A Mega Gyarados is just a terrifying mon to prep for, a terrifying mon to deal with in League format. So definitely not surprised that this thing is sitting up here this high at this point in the season. It's very easy to just get up a Dragonance with this thing after an Intimidate potentially from the Gyarados, and just sweep up a team without really any effort. The Hippowdon sitting up here, and what I like about the Hippowdon is every other mon up here, all of its kills are direct kills. Now, what defines a direct kill versus a passive kill is a direct kill is when a mon directly uses some form of attack. For example, the Comfey got mainly all of its kills from setting up Calm Minds and clicking Priority Draining Kisses. The Xurkitree gets most of its kills from clicking Thunderbolts or Dazzling Gleams on things, as it just spirals its way out of control. A passive kill comes from when some other external effect caused by said Pokemon, for example, sand damage or toxic damage or burn damage, when something like that, or even setting up hazards, even hazards specifically, when those pick up kills, that counts as a passive kill for the mon that set up that status or hazard or whatever. Hippowdon has spent the entirety of its games literally just sitting in front of things, clicking Toxic, having the sand up, and just watching as it just whittles itself away into nothingness. That in and of itself, to me, is impressive. That this mon has been so bulky that it can just live all these hits from these massive, monstrous Pokemon, just staring in front of it, and it just stares it down and watches them slowly die. So it's been very well played so far by the Gallisapods with this Hippowdon. This Hippowdon has put in so much work in all of its games, and I'm very impressed to see it up here. Disgusted to see this Jirachi up here. Really not a fan of Jirachi. I don't like this as a Pokemon, but as much as I hate the strategy, it works. Because Jirachi does what Jirachi does. Jirachi clicks Iron Head and makes things flinch consistently. You've seen it in the past 2 times that it's had flinch fests, where against the Porygon 2, it got 3 or 4 flinches directly in a row that allowed it to kill it. This most recent week, with the Amoonguss getting like 5 or 6 turns of flinch directly in a row, allowing it to pick up the kill on the Amoonguss. You know, it's as unfortunate as it is. This mod is built around hacks, and the Rockets have definitely, in the most disgusting fashion possible, used it to their advantage. So, kudos to them on that. As much as I dislike the strategy, it has been effective. As for the Weavile has been sitting here comfortably for the past few weeks. It was up much higher after week 1, but has had a few not so great weeks. And I wouldn't say not so great, but I would say more so. Best way to put it is just more so it hasn't had the opportunity to, because other mons on the team shined over it. For example, in week 2 against the Entei, the bulkier mons of the team, things like Dusknoir and Licky Licky shined a lot more. They did a lot more of the work that week. While this week, things like Roserade picking up 2 kills in the end, Passimian picking up 3 kills throughout the match shined. Just had more of an opportunity to get into the matchup and do more offensive maneuvers, and just had more of an opportunity to get into the match. You know, only one instance happened where something dropped, and it allowed for pretty much free switching for Mon that just had a better matchup at the time. So, Weavile hasn't had the opportunity to pick up any more kills, but depending on the upcoming matchups, I'm sure Weavile will have a chance to bounce back and get itself back up on this list. But with that, that is going to end off our kill leaders this week. Stay tuned till next week for when we will be hopefully updating this list with some crazy new mons and some wholesome battles. We got some great battles coming up in the upcoming weeks, and I'm really looking forward to presenting them all to you guys. But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I am PokePrimer, and I am signing off. Peace.